The crimson sand of Xerion 7 crunched beneath Commander Kanat's boots as she surveyed the battlefield. The final stronghold of the Zephyrian Empire stretched before her, like a metallic cancer against the alien sky. 3 suns burned overhead, casting triple shadows that danced across the carnage of what had once been considered an impregnable fortress. "Commander," came the voice of Lieutenant Malice through the comm unit embedded in Kanat's collar. "The Zephyrian War Council has agreed to meet. They're requesting formal combat protocols." Kanat's weathered face remained stoic as she adjusted her plasma rifle. At 42, she had seen more worlds burn than most humans saw sunsets. Her dark hair, streaked with premature silver from exposure to exotic radiations, was pulled back in the practical style favored by Earth's deep space marines. But it was what decorated her left forearm that truly defined her. A simple tattoo of Earth, rendered in brilliant blue and green with the words Terra Firma scripted beneath in flowing letters. "Tell them I'll honor their traditions," Kanat replied, her voice carrying the quiet authority that had earned her command of humanity's most elite unit. "But they should know that Earth doesn't need ceremony to win wars." The meeting took place in the ancient amphitheater at the heart of the Zephyrian citadel. Towering crystalline pillars stretched toward the alien sky, their surfaces reflecting the light of the 3 suns in prismatic displays that would have been beautiful under different circumstances. The Zephyrians had ruled this sector of the galaxy for over 3 millennia, their empire built on the subjugation of countless worlds and species. General Vexhai stood at the center of the amphitheater, his 7-foot frame draped in the ceremonial armor of his people. His reptilian features were set in an expression of contempt as he watched the human delegation approach. Behind him, a dozen of his finest warriors formed a semicircle, their bioluminescent scales pulsing with barely contained aggression. "So," Vexhai's voice echoed through the chamber, his words translated by the universal communicator. "The mammals from the small blue world think they can challenge the might of Zephyr. Tell me, human, how many worlds has your species conquered?" Kanat stopped 20 paces from the alien general, her hands clasped behind her back. Lieutenant Malice and the other members of the human delegation flanked her, but she stood alone in that moment, representing not just her unit, but her entire species. "None," Kanat replied simply. A ripple of what might have been laughter passed through the Zephyrian ranks. Vexhai's crest flared with amusement. "None? Then by what right do you stand before me? By what authority do you dare to threaten the empire that has brought order to 200 worlds?" "By the right of those who fight for something greater than conquest," Kanat said. "By the authority of those who protect rather than dominate." Vexhai's expression darkened, his bioluminescent patches shifting to an angry orange. Pretty words from a species that hasn't even left its home system until recently. "You humans are children playing with forces beyond your understanding." The alien general reached to his side and drew his ceremonial blade, a weapon forged from the crystallized core of a dead star, its edge sharp enough to cut through molecular bonds. The sword hummed with contained energy, casting eerie shadows across the amphitheater. "I challenge you, human commander, to single combat. When I defeat you, your species will acknowledge Zephyrian superiority and submit to our rule. Your world will become another jewel in our empire's crown." The other Zephyrians began a low chant, their voices harmonizing in frequencies that made the crystalline pillars resonate. It was an ancient ritual, one that had preceded the conquest of countless worlds. Never had a challenge been refused. Never had a Zephyrian general been defeated in single combat. Kanat looked at the glowing blade, then at the alien warrior who held it. She made no move toward her own weapons. Instead, she slowly rolled up the sleeve of her uniform, exposing the tattoo on her forearm. "You want to know why Earth is enough?" she asked, her voice carrying clearly through the amphitheater. "This is why." She pointed to the tattoo, that simple image of a blue-green world that had somehow produced a species capable of standing toe-to-toe with a galactic empire. "We didn't conquer 200 worlds because we didn't need to. Earth taught us everything we needed to know about survival, about adaptation, about fighting for what matters. We learned to thrive in deserts that would kill your kind, in frozen wastelands where your bioluminescence would fade and die. We learned to survive ice ages and asteroid impacts, to build civilizations from the ashes of the old." Vexhai's grip on his sword tightened, but something in Kanat's tone gave him pause. Earth made us strong not through easy victories but through impossible challenges. Every day on our world was a battle, against predators, against the elements, against each other. And do you know what we learned from all that struggle? Kanat's eyes never left the alien general's face. We learned that the strongest warriors aren't those who conquer the most worlds. They're the ones who know what they're fighting for. You rule 200 worlds, General, but do any of them fight for you? Or do they fight because you force them to? The Xerion chant faltered, then died away entirely. In the sudden silence, Vexhi's bioluminescent patches flickered uncertainly. When your empire falls, and it will fall, those worlds will celebrate their freedom. But Earth? Kanat's voice grew softer, more dangerous. Earth will still be here. Earth will still be home, and humans will still be willing to die for it. Not because we have to, but because we choose to. She took a step forward, her hand moving to the simple combat knife at her belt. So yes, General, I'll accept your challenge. But understand this, you're not fighting just me. You're fighting for every human who ever looked up at the stars and dreamed of touching them. You're fighting 10 billion people who learned that home isn't just a place you come from. It's a place worth coming back to. The blade sang as it left its sheath, a plain piece of earth-forged steel that gleamed dully in the tri-solar light. No exotic alloys, no crystallized stellar cores, just metal and human determination. Vexhi raised his star sword, its energy field crackling with barely contained power. You speak of your world as if it were special. All worlds harbor life, human. What makes yours different? Kanat shifted into a combat stance, her movements fluid and precise. Earth doesn't make us different, General. Earth makes us us. The battle that followed would be remembered across the galaxy for generations. Not for its duration, it lasted mere minutes. Not for its spectacle. There were no energy blasts or exotic weapons. It would be remembered because in those few minutes, a human woman with a simple tattoo proved that sometimes the greatest strength comes not from what you conquer, but from what you carry with you. When it was over and Vexhi lay defeated in the crimson sand, Kanat stood over him, her earth-forged blade at his throat. The Xerion Empire's greatest general looked up at her with something approaching respect. Your world, he wheezed, his bioluminescence fading. What is it called again? Kanat smiled, pointing once more to the tattoo on her arm. Earth, General? Just Earth, and Earth was enough.